Have you ever found yourself praying, seeking, trying to hear God's voice, but it feels like He's silent? You look at your life and wonder, does God really speak? Or is there something wrong with me? If this doubt has ever crossed your mind, know that you're not alone. The truth is, millions of sincere Christians feel the same way, and there's a very clear reason for it, although almost no one talks about it. Today I'm going to open your eyes to a reality that could completely change the way you connect with God. And at the end of the video, I'll share a practical key that could make all the difference in your spiritual journey. So stay with me until the end, because this answer could be the turning point in your life of faith. Are you ready to find out what's really going on? Let's dive in. So stay with me until the end, because this answer could be a true turning point in your life of faith. And before we dive in, let me invite you to do something. If you want to live a deeper faith, hear God's voice more clearly, and apply His word to your daily life in a practical and genuine way, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Here, every video is designed for those who want to go beyond theory and experience real transformation. You don't have to walk this journey alone. We're in this together, growing in faith and living out what God has for us. Now let's get straight to the point. Why does it seem like God isn't speaking to you? And what do you need to do to truly change that? Pay close attention, because the answer might be very different from what you expect. Many times, when God seems not to answer our prayers or remain silent, our first reaction is to think that He has abandoned us, that He doesn't care, or that we are doing something wrong. But the truth is completely different. God's silence is often a sign that He is working behind the scenes, preparing something greater than what we can imagine. It is in silence that God tests our faith, strengthens our character, and teaches us to trust in Him without depending on visible signs. Instead of interpreting silence as rejection, we need to learn to see it as an invitation to deepen our trust, to remain steadfast even without immediate answers, and to discover a faith that goes beyond circumstances. Think with me. Are you seeing God's silence today as absence, when in fact He is closer than ever? Answer here in the comments. Have you ever experienced moments like this? What was your experience? Let's share and strengthen each other in this journey. Many times God is speaking to us, but we can't hear Him. Why? Because there are invisible barriers that we create or that arise along our walk with God. These barriers can be mental, spiritual, or even emotional, and often we don't realize that they are distancing us from His voice. These barriers can come from unconfessed sins, excessive worries, or even a lack of focus during prayer and Bible reading. And when these barriers are in our way, we end up feeling frustrated, without answers, and often distant from God. Today I'm going to show you how to identify these barriers and, more importantly, how to break them down. I'll share 3 clear signs that something might be blocking your communication with God, and how you can remove these obstacles to hear His voice with clarity. Question to engage in the comments. What barriers do you think might be distancing you from God? Have you ever gone through a blockage like this? Many times you may be seeking a direct answer from God, expecting to hear an audible voice or see obvious signs. But the reality is that God speaks to us in more subtle ways, and if you know how to recognize it, you will realize that He is speaking all the time. God is not limited to a single form of communication. Sometimes He speaks through circumstances, deep feelings in the heart, or even through the Word when you read it with sincerity. And often He speaks when you are in silence, guiding you step by step without being visible or audible in an obvious way. Today, I'm going to teach you how to recognize God's voice in moments of silence. I'll share 3 practical ways to know that God is indeed speaking to you, even when it seems like there is no answer. Have you ever felt that God was speaking to you in non-obvious ways? What was the experience like? Have you ever wondered why at certain times your faith feels weak? Or why, even after praying and seeking answers, you feel alone and directionless? Doubt is something natural, but it can also be one of the biggest barriers between you and a deeper communication with God. The truth is that, in times of silence and doubt, God is inviting us to strengthen our faith and trust in His plan, even when we don't fully understand what is happening. Doubts are not a sign of spiritual weakness. They are an opportunity to grow in trust and learn to rely on God in a deeper and more mature way. Today, I'm going to share 3 powerful steps you can take to overcome doubts and strengthen your faith during periods of silence. These steps will help you maintain trust in God, even when answers don't come immediately. How do you deal with doubts in your spiritual walk? Have you ever gone through a crisis of faith? Waiting can be one of the most challenging experiences of faith. When we pray and seek God's direction, we want quick answers, but often what we receive is silence. And it's in that silence that many people give up, drift away, or start to doubt. But know this, the waiting time is not wasted time. In fact, it's in the silence that God works most deeply on our character, shapes our patience, and prepares our hearts for what is to come. While you wait, God is working behind the scenes, in you and around you. Today, I'm going to show you what you should do during the waiting period to strengthen yourself spiritually, keep your hope alive, and be prepared for God's answer when it comes. These are simple but powerful actions that turn waiting into a time of growth, not frustration. What do you usually do while waiting for an answer from God? Have you learned something valuable during that time? If you've made it this far, it's because you feel in your heart that God is calling you to something greater. And I want to remind you, God's silence is never rejection, it's preparation. Stay strong, trust the process because His answer always comes at the right time. Now, if this message spoke to you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Here you'll find content that strengthens your faith and helps you walk even closer to God. Leave a like so this word can reach even more lives, and in the comments share. In what area of your life are you waiting for an answer from God? I read all the comments and pray for your life. Don't leave without taking this step of faith. Let's walk this journey together.